CIET NCERT presents audiobook Interactions, activity book on listening and speaking for classes 6 to 10.
Page 103.
Chapter 44, Handicrafts.
Learning Outcomes. 1.
Learners will be able to listen for gist, specific information, and detail in the given text.
2.
Learners will be able to acquire speaking skills to seek information.
3.
Learners will be able to express their knowledge on a certain topic and show interest in the same. We shall now move to page 171 for the appendix of chapter 44.
Page 171.
Appendix 44. Traditional potters live and work in almost every part of India. Pottery is a specialized profession, and often the community lives together in a separate area of a village or town. A potter has the skill to make pots for different uses, from large storage jars for grains and water to tiny earthen lamps for Diwali. The potter can design toys and sculpt giant figurines for worship as well. To make giant figures, artists have evolved various techniques. One of them is to make each piece of the figure on the potter's wheel. This is to prevent the clay figurine from breaking when it is fired in the kiln. When clay is fired in the kiln, it contracts considerably due to the loss of water and moisture. A solid model made of ordinary clay would burst under the pressure of the kiln's heat. A sculpture with uneven wall thickness would warp and crack. Therefore, using the potter's skill in creating parts of the figure in which the walls are of even thickness is a unique way of overcoming this problem. These individual pieces are then assembled by the potter to create the required form. This unusual process involves the imaginative use of material. A great deal of inventiveness goes into making the form both technically sound as well as aesthetically satisfying. Some of these figures are 2 meters high, and their towering presence only adds to the genius of the village potter. The potters make these figures for their patrons, for money or food. During Durga Puja in West Bengal, huge figures of the goddess are made. Artists use different techniques and mixtures of natural material to make these statues. They follow the traditional practice to form the basic structure with local grasses bound together to form the legs, arms and head. The grasses are often swathed with thin cotton cloth. Then, layer upon layer, clay is carefully applied to the statue to gradually build it up. Over a period of several days, each layer is allowed to dry completely so that no cracks appear and there is no warping. Once dry, the statue is painted with natural mineral colors. After this, it is dressed in a sari and adorned with ornaments made of paper or artificial jewelry and flower garlands before it is made ready for worship. We shall now move to page 103 for the activities of chapter 44, Handicrafts.
Page 103. Warm-up. A.
Look at the pictures given here. Ask any 5 students in your class the following questions. Make a note of their answers.
1.
Which items can you identify?
2.
Where are each of these items made?
3.
Can you explain the process of making any one of these items?
The first picture is
A pair of Kolhapuri chappals. They are made of leather and are usually tan in color.
The second picture is
A few cotton saris.
The third picture is
Terracotta with painting on it. A pot.
The fourth picture is
A stool made of grass.
Activity 1. Listening. A.
Listen to the short narrative on pottery in India and match the columns. There are 2 columns here. The first has the starting part of a sentence and the second contains options to complete it.
1.
Pottery is found in
Option A.
Haryana,
Option B.
all over India,
Option C.
Andhra Pradesh.
2.
The techniques employed by pottery artists have
Option A.
been the same since ancient times,
Option B.
changed overnight,
Option C.
evolved over centuries.
Page 104. 3.
To create different parts of a clay figure, a potter uses
Option A.
clay to create shapes,
Option B.
stones to create shapes,
Option C.
metal to create shapes.
4.
During Durga Puja, potters make a giant figure of the
Option A.
leaders,
Option B.
goddess,
Option C.
gods.
5.
The entire figure of the deity is painted with
Option A.
natural mineral colors,
Option B.
natural oil paint,
Option C.
spices.
B.
What aspects of pottery have been discussed in the narrative? Listen to the audio again and make a list of those aspects. For example, making process, history, etc.
Activity 2. Speaking. A.
Work in groups of 4 and create a narrative of 150 or 200 words to promote a handicraft. Include aspects that have been discussed in the pottery narrative. Besides, include the other aspects of that particular craft form that you would like people to know and state how you plan to do so. Share your narrative with the class.
B.
Talk to other groups for feedback on your narrative in order to improve it. Chapter 44, Handicrafts, ends here.
Activity book on listening and speaking for classes 6 to 10. You were just listening to this audiobook. Read by Akash and Dr. Anandana Kapoor. Recorded by Bati Langlingdo and Mayank Kumar. Production assistants Tanu Gupta. Directed and produced by Vandana Arimardan. This audiobook is presented to you by CIET NCERT, New Delhi, India.